Well, with kiddos heading back to school in the coming weeks, it's time to talk all things health when it comes to your student. Melinda Lacy of Harrisonville Medical Clinic joins us this morning with parents what they need to know now that kids are back in school. Let's start with vaccines.
Yes.
So important. So usually to get into kindergarten, you need to be up to date with those vaccines.
Yes, that's right. Right now, we're seeing a big surge of people coming in for their well child visits, and vaccines are a big part of that. Before kindergarten, before 8th grade, and when you're 16 are kind of key times that you need to be vaccinated to be up to date to get back in school for Kansas and Missouri.
And schools stay on that to make
they
sure
do.
that
They
you're
usually won't let you enroll or get your kids' schedule, and so they stay on top of it, and we do too, and we follow the guidelines as to when those vaccines are due.
Let's talk about lunches, because both of my kids are picky eaters. Whew, it's tough to get them to eat those healthy options, and I'm not there to see what they are choosing when they eat the hot lunches. So what advice can you give me and the other parents out there that have the same problem?
I definitely have patients that come in and say that their kids have eaten the same thing every day for a month or won't try anything new.
Is it macaroni and cheese?
It is a lot of times. It is, or chicken nuggets.
That's the one. And chicken nuggets.
Yes.
Oh, man.
But we definitely encourage them to try different things. When they come home, asking them about what they had for lunch, kind of a sneaky way you can say is, tonight we're having green beans. Is that what you had for lunch? And a lot of times they'll say, well, no, I had this. And you can kind of keep track of it a little bit. But taste buds change. And so to continue offering that from time to time and encouraging them to try new things for breakfast and lunch. Breakfast is so important. It's the most important meal of the day. It helps kids learn better. They score better on test scores. So healthy eating is really important.
And there's a great website out there to help you.
Yes,
Tell us
yes.
about that
There's
too.
Choose My Plate. That one's a great, absolutely great website. I think we have that on there. It is a real great visual as to kind of the choices that they can make, and helps kids when they're looking at their plate to say, do I have a vegetable on there? Do I have a fruit on there? Do I have a protein on there? And kind of gives them some options.
And cutting the sugar too, that's always an important one for our kids, because they get hyper and then they have the sugar crash. So if we can eat the foods that are more than veggies, right?
Yes. And those non-sugary drinks.
That's the worst. All right, let's talk about the hearing and eye screening.
Yeah, when kids come in now for their well child visits, those are some things that we work on, are those hearing screenings, vision screenings. They say that a lot of times children who actually fail a grade, a third of those actually had hearing loss issues, and that, contributed to that. So having your hearing screening done, vision, especially if your kid is struggling in school, bring them to us so we can talk about it and see if that's an issue. We do screening for attention deficit issues. That way we can see if your child has some of those concerns, and we can address them right off the get-go so they can have a good school year.
And sleep is so important.
I
feel like with the technology, that those blue lights are keeping up kids later.
You're right.
And they can sneak them in the room.
You're exactly
and they can
right.
play on their iPads or their phones, and they're not going to bed as early. And not that I was perfect when I was a child, but it is an issue that's new for this generation.
Absolutely. Teenagers especially. Teenagers need as much sleep as some really small children. They say teenagers need 9+ hours of sleep, which most teenagers are not getting that if they're laying there on their phone for a couple hours. And that light from that screen it enters your brain, and it keeps those awake centers awake and alive. And again, kids don't score as well on test scores. They're sleepy. We have a lot of teenagers who are sleepy driving. They say there was a recent study that showed 15% of high schoolers said that they had driven when they were sleepy, which is scary.
It's so
scary enough having a teenage driver. So that's important.
I know you have teenage kids, and it's like you can empathize with that. And finally, quickly, if you can tell us about making sure that the medications are all right with the schoolers.
Absolutely, making sure that they're in their original bottle, that they're up to date. Those inhalers are important to have. That they're haven't expired within the most recent year. That their medications are labeled. That the school nurses knows when she's supposed to administer them, and having those action plans ready to go keeps our kids safe and healthy.
Advice. So it's all about keeping our kids safe and healthy.
Absolutely.
For more information, you can call the Harrisonville Medical Clinic at 816-380-7470 or visit cassregional.org. Thank you so much for being here. Great information.